Hello ladies and gentle cars, and welcome to our F125 My Team career. Last time in Imola was pretty lackluster, but we were able to outscore our new rivals Visa Cash App Racing Bulls, and we scored a P9 finish ahead of Lawson. But before we get into Monaco, we have a few things to do in the menus. First of all, we reached a level 2 fan rating, which means we were able to put more sponsors on our car. So I've done a full overhaul of the sponsors and their placements on the car, as well as also I've tweaked the blue to better resemble Franco Colapinto's blue that he has on his helmet and on his website. But anyways, with that done, let's get on to qualifying for Monaco. Okay, well, we're actually going to skip qualifying because for some reason my recording software decided to kill itself, so all of qualifying is lost. So I'll just give you a bit of a recap of what happened. Qualifying 1 went pretty well. We managed to get up to P12 and make our way through to Q2. Q2, however, well, I'll just let this over-exaggerated clip play. That's basically what happened.
Well, what happened? Let me know you're okay.
The prestigious Circuit de Monaco, then, is not all that dissimilar today to the layout that made its debut almost a century ago. It's 2 miles and 19 corners through the streets of Monte Carlo. And although the average lap speed of around 93 miles per hour is the lowest of the season, the tiny margins for error make it the natural habitat of the safety car. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Russell, Yuki Tsunoda, and Piastri, Antonelli, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, and Pierre Gasly, Albon, Ocon, Isaac Hadjar, Doohan, Stroll, Colapinto, Gabriel Bortoleto, and Liam Lawson, Behrman, Hamilton, Hülkenberg, and Paul Aron rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. And alongside me today, former Formula One driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'll give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Okay, you know this, but this track needs a lot of downforce, and as such, we're not going to have quite the same top speed as other circuits. The good news, though, is that it's going to make our DRS even more powerful. So try to make the most of it in the race and quali if you can.
Alright, well, we have a mandatory 2-stop, I think. Oh, well, maybe not. Okay. Let's start on hards. Let's see how far we can get. I don't know if F125 has the mandatory 2-stop, like real life does, but we'll see. Alright, that's lights out and away we go in Monaco. Stroll had a bit of a slow start, and Doohan pulls off to the right.
Reducing our overall capacity. The more charge you hold, the faster that capacity will drop.
Alright, well, we're having some engine issues. We just passed Hadjar there. We've made our way up to P13. I've never actually done a race in Monaco with the racing line off before, so this is a bit scary for me. Oh my god, they're so... Alright, well, we have a collision with lock-on now. I'm not used to this. I'm very nervous. My main goal isn't even to get points, it's just to survive. Alright, well, we've completed lap 1.
We can now use DRS. DRS now available.
somehow no damage and only with single collision with Aron. Oh my goodness, break. Okay. It's taking all my concentration in the world to not hit Aron and to not hit the walls. Oh my goodness. I keep outbreaking myself there. Max Verstappen is just flying away. I just now looked at the map. He's miles ahead of that McLaren. Oh my goodness. Okay, really quickly, I'm just gonna quickly check and see if F125 does have a mandatory 2-stop. If it doesn't, I think we're gonna just go for a 1-stop. If it does, we're gonna swap over to softs whenever we pit. Okay, a 2-stop is mandatory in F125. Okay. I'm gonna swap these tires over to softs for whenever we pit. So I think that going hards to mediums is a bit, seems a bit odd just for a 27 lap race. Alright, here we go for our first pit stop of the race. There is a mandatory 2-stop, so we are going to come in to the pits sometime later into the race. Alright, yep, just let the others through. Alright, let's go. Alright, so we've come out ahead of Hajar. He is on the mediums, we're on the softs. I think Aron is the car that's all the way up there ahead of us. So he has undercut us, but we have overcut Hajar. Now that we're on the softs, I think we're going to try and make some moves happen. Alright, I think we're going to be able to take Gasly here. Dive to the inside of him. And just like that, we're up to P12. Alright. Now we've got the 2 Spaniards of Sainz and Alonso ahead of us. I'm going to try and get Sainz on the same corner that we just got Gasly. For me, that seems to be the best place to do it at, especially if we get a good exit out of the corner. Dive to his inside, we bump the wall a bit. We're still fighting through the hairpin. Trying to leave that space. Alright, we're up to P11. Oh, that is a yellow flag, and Liam Lawson. That's a mechanical failure for Liam Lawson. He is going to be out of this race. That is one of our rivals down. After that yellow flag, we finally caught up to Alonso. I think our pit window is going to start this lap. Alright, well, none of them are going into the pits, but we are, because this is our pit lap. Are mediums going to be able to last 10 laps? I sure hope they will. Hajar's also coming into the pits. Perfect time. Oh, just bumped the wall. Alright, there goes Bortoletto. I'm going to come out right ahead of our teammate Paul Aron. This is the first time in a while that I've actually seen our teammate racing. Wonder how many laps that's going to last. Oh my goodness, Bortoletto's so slow. Just slammed into the back of him there. Not meaning to do that. Somehow I didn't get a warning. I do not want to be stuck behind Bortoletto, so we're going to go for an overtake into the chicane. You just cut the corner a bunch there, my goodness. Alright, up to P16 we go. Hopefully we can get the undercut on Alonso and the other 2 drivers that were with him. Alright, we come out ahead of Albon and Ocon. Okay, maybe not Ocon, but definitely ahead of Albon there. So we're definitely going to be getting the undercut on Alonso. Right, there's Alonso and Antonelli as well. Didn't realize Antonelli was that far back. Tsunoda comes out right ahead of Ocon. Alright, we're up to P9 we go. Pretty sure a few drivers ahead of us still need to come to the pits, like Hamilton. Pretty sure he needs to pit once more. Alright, there goes Hamilton. Into the pits he goes. Oh, I always have such a horrible exit out of that corner. Alright, this is the closest that we've been to Ocon. I'm going to go for the overtake here in the Harbor Chicane. Try to leave Ocon some space. He jumps over the chicane. And we're going to go through to P7. Here we go. We're pretty close to him here. Alright, I think we're gonna go for it. I think I'm gonna go for the dive bomb on the chicane here. This is the closest that we've been to him. Just absolutely send it. I outbroke myself there, but as we pass Tsunoda, Max Verstappen takes the win in Monaco. He absolutely dominated this race. Whoever's in P2 isn't even close to him. We walk home from Monaco not only with massive points, but also no damage. That is a huge win.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
It's another victory and a champion's performance from Max Verstappen.
And that's 2 wins in a row now, of course, Crofty. And it marks the fact that it's not a fluke. So, you know, their head's in the right space. What more can we see going forwards?
And it's time for that special moment for our special 3 today. The podium awaits our top 3 finishers. But there can only be one on the top step. Your number 1, Max Verstappen.
Alright, Max Verstappen, 16.6 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc in P2. Absolute domination from the Dutchman there. George Russell finishes out the podium. The 2 McLarens finish P4 and P5, and somehow we have gone from P16 to P6. 8 points in the bag. I will take that. We are now 15 points ahead of our rivals, Visa Cash App Racing Bulls. McLaren still stay at the top of the standings, and Norris still stays 23 points ahead of Verstappen. We have moved up to P10 in the drivers though, 1 point behind Liam Lawson. But anyways, that'll be the end of the video. If you've enjoyed, subscribe, like, or something, I don't know. And I will see you next time for Spain.